इनकलाब एक लड़ाई है जुल्म और नाइंसाफी के खिलाफ।
इनकलाब एक हथियार है आदमी पर आदमी का शोषण रोकने के लिए।
इनकलाब एक ऐलान है देश के नौजवानों को एकजुट करने के लिए।
इनकलाब एक आवाज है दबे हुए ज़मीर को जगाने के लिए।
It's a people defending themselves against a fascist government, which you are defending. It's not a civil war.
Well, a conflict.
It's not a conflict. It's a liberation movement fighting for justice.
If you're there to struggle, you're there to win. If you're there not struggling, goddammit, you don't deserve to win.
What was common between these different examples? What is a struggle? By struggle, we mean political struggle. Who is the struggle between? Does one win a struggle or is it always ongoing? In this video, we will try to understand how societies throughout centuries have evolved and transformed only through struggle. Under fully established class societies, it is through class struggle. We will also explore what it means to struggle, the difference between individual struggle and a people's struggle. Lastly, we will look at the different levels of struggle that individuals within a people's struggle have to undertake. Drawing on our experience of struggle in applying the historical materialist or the Marxist-Leninist theory of struggle, we hope this video will work towards building a shared understanding of struggle with activists, academic or student, progressive civil society members engaged in organized struggle. Keep watching till the end. As famously written in the Communist Manifesto, all history of societies is a history of class struggle, to which Engels later qualified all written history. But what does this statement mean? Of course, there would be various explanations attempting to control this narrative for different reasons. But a narrative explaining the history of societies through class struggles seems most suitable when the objective of our struggle is liberation and humanization of all people. Why? Because liberation of all oppressed and exploited people historically has only been achieved through struggle. According to the Marxist notion, class struggle is the motive force which leads to the evolution and progression of societies. To understand the Marxist notion of class struggle, let us examine a few important instances of struggle in history and understand their significance in the major transformation of human societies. For example, the Haitian Revolution is the only one so far in human history where the slaves freed themselves and won liberty. It happened during the end of the 18th century and is said to have given the fatal blow that overthrew the ancient institutions of slavery and started the process to end feudalism. The impact of the Haitian Revolution was global, shaking European empires in particular, forcing capitalism to undertake radical transformations in its modes of production. However, the impact of the Haitian Revolution also penetrated the minds and hearts of the working classes in Europe, as workers and farmers in France revolted and succeeded in overthrowing the French imperial government and occupying Paris for nearly 2 years by the middle of the 19th century. This became known as the Paris Commune. Throughout different ages of class society, the working and oppressed classes have never ceased their struggle for freedom and liberation. At the beginning of the 20th century, in the midst of World War I, the Russian workers succeeded in overthrowing the imperialist regime in Russia and building a modern workers' state based on Marxist-Leninist teachings. This was followed by the victory of the Chinese People's Communist Party in overthrowing imperialist puppet regimes and establishing a modern socialist people's state based on the same teachings as adopted by the Russian workers. with modifications to suit the conditions in China at the time. It must not be forgotten that these two global people's victories prompted capitalist regimes around the world to make major concessions to their working and oppressed classes. We must not forget the numerous people's struggles around the world, such as the civil rights movement or the Black Power movement in the United States, the Cuban Revolution, the Indian independence struggle, and the Dhofar Revolution, and many, many more, which contributed to promoting the process of people's liberation within class-based societies.
Sino en todos los países del mundo en que se creara la lucha, se desarrollara la lucha revolucionaria. Ellos trataron de masacrar a Argelia, pero Argelia fue libre. Tratan hoy de liquidar al pueblo de Vietnam, pero el pueblo de Vietnam es más fuerte que ellos. Y el pueblo de Vietnam sigue día a día anotándose nuevas victorias.
Theory of struggle. On studying various experiences of class struggle, critically analyzing them, and also applying it in diverse political contexts, the Marxist-Leninist or the Maoist theory has been developed and continues to grow. The objective, in keeping with Marxist philosophy, is clear: understand the theory in the process of its application to struggle for change. According to Marx's historical materialist analysis, the way class societies and today capitalist society have been organized, there are inequalities in the sharing of resources, in the wealth and power relations between different social classes. These inequalities, which seem as ancient as societies themselves, are designed to serve and maintain class societies, particularly the elites, who are the major beneficiaries of such societies and have shaped the way they have been organized. That is, those who own most land and natural resources, also known as capital, those who own and control production of goods, those who wield power over a vast mass of people that serve them. It is obvious that the beneficiaries will not want to lose this wealth and power, and therefore have no interest in the overhaul of the present circumstances, even if that change might mean development or progression of the society as a whole. And yet, we know from history that societies and their modes of production have changed drastically. Take, for instance, the change from slavery to serfdom to free wage labor. These were not automatic changes that society or system made to itself. These were changes that are the product of years and decades and centuries of struggle waged by the people who were oppressed under these systems. It is only through struggle that the inequalities and oppressions within an organized society are exposed, and through struggle that they are eliminated. Struggle is the motive force which determines the development of society. And while this can be an extremely significant lesson under capitalism, it remains equally important under socialism too. After all, class struggle doesn't simply emerge, neither does it simply die out. It continues to fight under the remaining threats of the old society. This is true for any society under transition. For example, under socialist society, the struggle is against the remains of capitalist society and its values and traits in people, against an attack by defeated powerful elites, against falling prey to the tendencies and ideology of the overthrown bourgeois society. Therefore, after the Bolsheviks seized power in Russia, Lenin said, The proletariat does not seize the class struggle after seizure of state power, but continues it until the elimination of classes. Levels of struggle. The struggle is based on several levels. The first is the struggle within oneself. Since we have all come from oppressed societies under backward dictatorial rules, the first level requires an extremely intense struggle within oneself to maintain high human morals and resist the behaviors and ideas inherited from capitalist society. Revolutionaries are constantly trained to control their emotions and prevent their thoughts from being influenced by idealism. Instead, they are encouraged to practice dialectical and historical materialism in their struggle. Carrying out internal struggle requires sincerity and commitment to the cause of people's liberation, of which the individual is a small part. The progress of those who have engaged in internal struggle can only be measured by their struggle with their comrades. This constitutes the second level of struggle, which is between comrades themselves, as the milieu of struggle is the seed of the desired society, not a copy of the present one. With genuine communist comrades, and by applying the method of criticism within a movement, self-struggle can be exercised in practice, because it no longer remains within the realm of speaking and rhetoric, but is transformed into reality through praxis, directed towards a clear path, refined and strengthened. The third and final level of struggle is directed against the enemy of the people, the bourgeois and ruling classes. All three levels of struggle are realized through practical and continuous activities. The strategy and tactics of our struggle should therefore be applied to all three levels. To expand on this, an artistic contribution from OFM cadre is a representation of what an internal struggle can feel like. I have only just understood what internal strife is. One side of you angry, one questioning what the meaning of life is. Together in conflict, compelled and bound, dereliction, decay, and no escape around. All attempts at peace lost. I'm forging alliances, but at what cost? Silenced, attacked, engulfed in fear, running away, but the end is nowhere near. Slow down, back away from the precipice. Struggling, scrambling up, but I fall back into the abyss. Deja vu, my only remaining memory. I'm blindsided. Such amnesiac treachery. Never has a war so cataclysmic been. No words can describe what I mean. Never have I seen a violence so infernal. I ask, how much of this strife is still internal? Give up. Lock that raging beast in a chain. But I have left him on the streets, whimpering in pain. Why are the screams muted? Am I so far away? Cheers of my victory loud and foolish. The enemy is now at bay. Must they reconcile or must they be at war? Normalcy, a dangerous dream, and it always leaves a scar. Oh, the blasphemy of my identity, constructed yet so strong. For lethal are the truths that I have believed all along. Lethal are the truths that I have believed all along. Tendencies that are harmful to any revolutionary struggle.
El pueblo unido jamás será vencido. El pueblo unido jamás será vencido.
strategy for an organization and individuals within to face these struggles. The process of struggle is full of hardships, difficulties, and sacrifices, and there is no easy path. One of the most important foundations of the struggle's rules, which helps cadre preserve and resist the above-mentioned harmful tendencies, is adopting the principle of simplicity, patience, and compassion in the struggle. Simplicity in actions and thoughts brings us back to the source of being. By being patient with friends and enemies, things are put right. By being compassionate towards yourself, you reconcile all beings in the world. Cadre can practice and experience democracy, freedom, and justice in accordance with the democratic centralism of revolutionary parties. Through continuous reading sessions, debates among comrades, and the use of criticism and self-criticism approach, political consciousness can be raised, experiences can be refined in analyzing and interpreting events, and new revolutionary persons can be formed who contribute to achieving the goals of the people's struggle line.
Новый аппарат управления естеств советских организаций. Отныне наступает новая полоса в истории России. И данная Третья русская революция должна будет в своем конечном итоге привести к победе социализма.
In this video, we tried to understand what a struggle is. We also looked at different levels of struggle that one may be engaged in, depending on their involvement in the struggle. We unpacked that one never really wins a struggle, even if they win a revolution or a war. Struggle is always ongoing and leads towards progressive change. The degree, intensity, and contradictions in a struggle might change based on the pressing questions of each time and society, and on the political and economic context globally. But at no point of change will a class enemy give up their privilege, power, and wealth when the oppressed and exploited masses wage a struggle for change. Therefore, the external struggle is ongoing. The internal struggle is also ongoing since there are elements or tendencies of the old society and its ideology inside even the most revolutionary leaders and cadres. These have to be struggled against constantly. We, in the OFM, recognize and acknowledge the struggle waged by various other progressive movements, organizations, political parties, progressive civil society groups in the past as well as today. Through this video, we wish to express solidarity and strength to all those engaged in struggle against those who hold power and dehumanize themselves as well as others. Let us continue to struggle until the people are united and liberated.